the chances are your prospective investor is not super up to speed with real estate investing. Chances are they're a regular person and they aren't all that interested in real estate. So one of the mistakes I see people making is that they overcomplicate their presentations.
There are millions of real estate investors out there, and most are stuck with just a couple of properties. They want financial freedom, but their small portfolio ends up costing them more in time, effort, and money than it's worth. Getting out of the rat race seems harder than ever. This show will help you do more deals, better deals, and bigger deals. Finally, you'll be able to reach your income and lifestyle goals. How? By attracting and leveraging private money partners and their capital. Now get ready to raise more money, because here's your host, Dave Dubeau.
Well, hey again, Dave Dubeau here, the How to Raise Capital 101 show for real estate investors, episode number 3, part number 3 of our nine-part mini course on the money partner formula. So today we're going to be talking about how to create your very own what we call $1 million investor presentation. Now, this is super important because this is where the rubber hits the road. Everything we're doing is designed to get you meetings with prospective investors. And this presentation is a huge part of holding those meetings. So let's dive right into it. And first of all, I'll show you where this fits into the whole money partner formula scheme of things, the big picture. So again, this is part of the foundational phase. This is step number 3 of the foundational phase. And it's all about creating that $1 million investor presentation. So if you haven't checked out the first 2 episodes, check those out because we talk about your target group of ideal prospective investors, who to focus on, who to avoid. Then we talk about creating your online marketing hub, which is going to get people coming to you pre-educated, pre-motivated, and pre-qualified to invest. And today, we're jumping into creating your $1 million investor presentation because this is going to make all the difference between whether you get success or not when it comes to having these investor meetings. And just like this testimonial from Constantine said, Dave, I did my first professional presentation today. It was awesome. I did many meetings like that in the past, but looking like a professional makes a huge difference. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, this makes a big, big difference, you guys. And a lot of folks just try to wing it when it comes to explaining their deals to prospective investors. They try to explain it over the phone. They just try to do the old Amway way of taking a piece of paper and a Sharpie and trying to draw some pictures and that sort of thing. And it just doesn't cut it. So it's really important that you have all of the pieces put together so that you can really do this effectively. All right. So the beautiful thing is when you've got a really good investor presentation, it's going to do so much of the heavy lifting for you. So what do you want to have in your investor presentation? Well, lots of different things. But the big thing is you want to keep in mind that chances are your prospective investor is not super up to speed with real estate investing. Chances are they're a regular person and they aren't all that interested in real estate. So one of the mistakes I see people making is that they overcomplicate their presentations. They put in too many charts, too many graphs, too much data, too many numbers. And if you're not into real estate investing, like most people are not, then that's going to overwhelm them. It's going to confuse them. And a confused mind always says no. So we want to make this a very, very easy to follow, easy to understand kind of a presentation. Lots of pictures. You want to have case studies of the kind of deals that you're doing, that you're looking to raise capital for. You want to show the different profit centers in a real estate deal. You want to talk about your power team members without going into too much detail there. You want to walk through the pros and the cons of doing a real estate deal. And here's the thing, like a lot of people in their presentations is all sunshine and flowers. They don't talk about any of the pitfalls, any of the risks, none of that stuff. I suggest we do the exact opposite. We show people exactly what the pros are, as well as what the cons are, what the potential risks are. And then we also show them what we're going to do to minimize or mitigate those risks should they happen. All right. So that's what we need to do. We need to have a clear, concise, easy to follow, easy to understand investor presentation. I'm going to recommend that you do it in a slideshow format for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's visual, and most people are visual learners. Number two, it really helps keep you on track so you don't go off on tangents and take forever to tell people what the whole thing is. Number three, once you've got a really good presentation put together, a good structure, a good flow, a good format, it's going to do the heavy lifting for you. It's like a mini system, and it's going to get you systematic, predictable results. So a really good investor presentation is absolutely key to success in raising capital. So one of these case studies, one of our clients that has done really, really well with his presentation is Matt. And what we're going to see in this little case study with Matt is how well this worked for him and how it helped him come across as even a more professional real estate investor. Even though he's got decades of experience, having a sharp looking presentation not only does a lion's share of the heavy lifting for him, but it makes him look like a pro. So have a little listen to this. And if you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or the podcast channel of your preference, you can always check out our YouTube channel to watch the slides to see this in person as well if you're a visual learner yourself. So we'll have that link in the show notes. And in the meantime, check this out. This is Matt talking about the power of a presentation.
And change some things. I sent it back to Gord. We went back and forth. It's all fine-tuned and ready to go. And I've used the presentation twice. Both the people were like, wow, what a presentation. What did that, one guy says, what did that cost? He's like, that's amazing, so no, it definitely pumps up your feathers and makes you feel good when you show someone like that, because the caliber of the presentation with the automation, the colors, the information, it's all there. And then basically I said, at this point, we're going to send you a letter of an intent. The one person is got that right now, which was 3 days ago. The other one we did 2 days ago. And today they, transferred almost $400,000 in RSPs to Olympia Trust.
I love how enthusiastic Matt is about this, just because it works so well for him. So this is one of the things that we do for our clients, is we actually create their $1 million investor presentation for them, walk them through it and practice it and role play it with them, and get them a bunch of presentations under their belt with prospective investors. All right, so I want to make sure that you leave this episode with a tangible to-do. So when it comes to getting ready to put together your own investor presentation, one of the things that we really want to focus on is coming up with a really good case study or an example deal that you can show people, right? So ideally, you want to take a deal for the main strategy that you're going to be doing, right? So I know a lot of real estate investors do a variety of different strategies, and that's cool. However, when it comes to your presentation, we want to focus on your primary bread and butter strategy. Really important here, right? Because again, we got to remember, our prospective investors, most of them are not real estate enthusiasts like we are. So we got to keep it super simple. If you try to explain too many different strategies, too many different kinds of deals, again, it's going to confuse them and overwhelm them. So what we want to do instead is we want to back off, and we want to show one kind of strategy, one main strategy. That doesn't mean that that's all that you can do, but that's all we're going to show them in this presentation. And then within that one strategy, we want to show them one specific sample deal. Now, here's something kind of counterintuitive. It's very important that you do not show them the best deal you ever did. Let me repeat that. Very important that you do not show them the best deal you ever did. And that's going to be your temptation. That was my temptation too. You're so proud of that. That's your baby. That's your favorite, right? But here's the challenge. If we show off our best deal ever to a non-real estate person, chances are the returns you got on that deal are going to be unbelievable for them. Like they're going to say, bullshit, that's not possible. How could you possibly get those kind of returns? Because you got to remember, the average person is accustomed to making maybe 1%, 2%, 3% on their money. You start showing them, 20, 30, 40% ROIs, which are possible in real estate. It's going to seem too good to be true. They're going to think that you're fibbing to them. All right. So here's what you want to do instead. You want to take a decent deal, a deal that was good, but you want to use that as an example, right? That's going to be your case study. And then that way you can walk them through a deal, and that's going to set appropriate expectations. In fact, sometimes with our clients, we have to dial back the returns they got on a deal just to make that believable for a non-real estate person. Does that make sense? So it's really important. Our temptation is going to be to show off our best deal ever. Don't do that. Show off one of your plain Jane bread and butter type deals. If you haven't done a lot of deals, and the deals that you have done have been just, you've knocked them out of the ballpark, then you might want to dial back the numbers a little bit, just again, to make them believable for average people. So grab one of those deals, grab lots of pictures of that deal because you want to have different pictures. Again, pictures say 1,000 words is much more, interesting for the person to look at. So grab pictures, grab some big broad stroke numbers. Don't get into the details. Don't be showing off spreadsheets and all this kind of stuff. Just big broad stroke numbers. And now you're going to be ready to go for your presentation. All right, very good. So that wraps up episode number 3 and lesson number 3 of this 9-part mini course. And what are we going to be looking at next in lesson number 4? Well, we're going to be kicking things into gear into our second phase of the money partner formula. We're going to get started with the launch phase, and we're going to do something very, very important. We're going to show you how to create classy capital connections. What does that mean? This is a way to break the ice with your target group of ideal prospective investors before we start talking business. Because a huge mistake I see people making over and over again, and I did too, is they just charge in right from the get-go saying, hey, it's me, I got the deals, have you got the dough? All right? You don't want to do that because it's really tacky. You're charging in like that bull in a china shop, and you're going to turn more people off than you're ever going to turn on for your deals. So what you want to do instead is you want to be classy, right? You want to be classy. So you want to reconnect with these people on a personal level first before we start talking business. We want to set the stage for everything that's going to be coming down the pipeline. I'm going to show you a very simple but very effective 3-step process that we do for this that we call a warm-up campaign. And the beautiful thing is you can automate this. You can offload this to technology, so it makes it so much easier for you. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about on episode number 4. So I look forward to seeing you there. This episode is brought to you by MoneyPartnerFormula.com. Our Money Partner Formula service allows you to raise all the private capital you need to do all the deals you want while we handle the hard stuff. We offer reliable and affordable done-for-you marketing services that get you investor meetings booked without all the work. So go ahead and check out the website right now, and then feel free to schedule a call with me, and let's take your portfolio to the next level. Again, that's MoneyPartnerFormula.com. Watch investor meetings pop up in your calendar. We handle the rest.